Can you hear me? Testing, one, two. We got sound? No? Yes? No? Maybe?
Here. Let's do this. There we go. I'm guessing now everybody can hear me. Sorry about that, guys. As I was saying, welcome back to the podcast. Hopefully, everybody's having a good time. Like always, we are going to be sitting down with another great company. So, hopefully, you guys are excited to sit down with us. Um, Jeremy, I know we're going to do another giveaway. I think we're going to do what, 15 viewers?
Yeah, let's do 15.
15 viewers, guys. If we can get to 15 viewers, we will go ahead and do a giveaway. And Jeremy, what are we going to give away this time?
You want to do 3 custom painted jerk baits. They'll have hooks and stuff on them. I just got lazy, so we will do 3 jerk baits for 15 viewers.
There we go. 3 jerk baits, guys. So get your friends, get your family, get everybody in here. Let's have a good time. And like always, if you haven't checked out our sponsor, we've got Hendrix Fishing, and they have products like Third Eye Fishing on there, as well as Beyond Braid, which Jeremy I absolutely love. It's super smooth, great braid. I'm excited to actually get it out there and use it myself. But other than that, use FishTalk 10 and save, because you might as well. Who wants to pay full retail for anything?
Taylor says I have a Necco.
Geez. That's not good. Well, I'll figure that out. But let's get our guests in. And Jeremy, who do you have today? I heard you got some teenagers from a high school. I know this sounds weird, but who do you got for us?
Southern Indiana Bait Company.
Gotcha.
We'll get them in here and have them introduce themselves.
Now, for those of you that don't know them real quick, I'm going to introduce them here. So they are 2 high school students who started a soft bait company, and I'll let them explain a little bit more from there. But they were just recently in what was it, the Southern Tennessee Bait Expo or something like that. So we'll let them talk a little bit about that as well. But let's go ahead and get these guys in here. Let me pull them in. There they are, and perfect. What's going on, guys?
Hey, what's going on?
Not much.
We're freezing. Not as much as you. We're freezing. Not as much as you guys. It sounds like so.
So we were telling everybody you guys are 2 high school. If you guys don't mind, how old are you
guys? So I'm 18 and I'm a senior in high school.
And I'm 16 and I'm a sophomore.
Very nice, very nice. So how long have you guys? Well, I guess I was kind of going through your guys' Instagram, kind of snooping a little bit here. You guys, looks like you guys started out doing some fishing tournaments. Is that correct? Or are currently doing fishing tournaments?
Yeah, so the whole thing kind of started as our high school started a bass fishing team. And before we even started any tournaments or anything, I just thought, oh, it would be cool to make my own soft plastics. So kind of got like the basic setup to just pour like stick worms, And then COVID hit and we were out of school and I started posting stuff I was making and everybody was liking them and people were wanting to buy it. So kind of got into selling it that way and it just took off on us really. Got way bigger than I'd ever have even thought it was, For me, it just started as a hobby. And then we started fishing all the high school events around for the state and the local weeknight tournaments and everything like that. And it's just grown into something that really I can't believe it's got to the scale of.
Very cool.
So you guys started out doing the fishing tournaments from high school. When and what got you guys into what the Southern Indiana Bait Company? Where'd the name come from and how did that kind of start
up? So yeah, we're based here in Salem, Indiana, which is right at about 45 minutes north of Louisville, Kentucky. And I don't know, we were trying to come up with like a cool name. You got these bait companies that have this really cool name. And we were just like, well, let's just say it's Southern Indiana Bait Company. That's where we are, and that's kind of what we represent. So really, that's how we got our name. Was we couldn't think of a cooler one. So
Yeah.
That's the hardest part, is coming up with a name for it.
yeah.
Very cool. So you're through your high school doing tournaments through your high school, or is it just a high school type?
Yeah. So we have the IBF Youth, which is Indiana Bass Federation Youth Division. They have a South Division, which is like Indianapolis down, and they have a North Division, which is Indianapolis up. And through those, we run a tournament series throughout the year, and then we take it's points based for the entire year. So we fish once a month. Usually, we have a tournament and different lakes throughout the state, and then they take the top 5 in points for the end of the year, and the top 5 from the South and top 5 from the North fish in the state championship. And then through that, they determine who gets to go fish the nationals, which is down in Lake Pickwick this year. So.
So who's the better fisherman out of you two?
Well,
I don't know.
Points wise for the year, I'm doing better.
Or should I say, who does mom like best?
Yeah.
It's always a tough question, right?
But no, I mean, points wise, for me and my tournament partner are sitting in 3rd for the year on points, and Xavier and his partner are, I think, sitting in 12th for the year on points, but they missed an event too, so yeah, that hurt them quite a bit.
It sounds like you're on your way there.
Yeah.
Staying competitive. Yep. That's great. So, I mean, since we're on the topic, what advice would you give for other high schoolers, looking to get into these type of tournaments, and things like that,
Really just talk to your local, every state pretty much has a high school tournament series, and usually you can find one on Facebook or something. And I would say just get with that Facebook page or whatever, and usually the director will get back with you. I mean, it's a good time to get started. Entry fee, I think, which I know for Indiana, entry fee is only like $20 per tournament. And, that goes to pay for because after every tournament, they have a big lunch for us, whether it be hot dogs or barbecue or whatever, or pizza. And then there's all kinds of prizes they give out and stuff. And really, it's just a really good learning experience to get started before you start fishing like the weeknight tournaments or something like that. I mean, and some of the other anglers that you get to meet, you connect with other high schoolers in your area that fish like you do. And I would say just get started as early as you can, really, because, I mean, before I started fishing the high school events, I didn't really bass fish necessarily. And by doing that, it got me into the bass fishing. And now, like, me and my tournament partner, we're fishing 2 or 3 weeknight tournaments a week and everything. And now it's turned into almost a job for us, so I'd say just get started and see where it takes you.
Now,
are you looking to take this to a collegiate level after high school?
So I'm going to Purdue University here this fall for forestry. I'm going to fish on their bass team. So
we're gonna have to keep tabs on the college tournaments then. See how well you're doing.
I hope so.
Now, I don't know if you guys know Bald Guy Fishing or Bald Guy Baits, but he said I legitimately caught, I think is what he meant, a 3.5 pounder on y'all's swim bait last week.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But like I said, the reason I wanted you guys on is your guys' story is awesome. I kind of, like I said, I wasn't expecting to see 2 young gentlemen like yourselves and hear about how well you guys have managed as a business, because there's some adults that don't even do business as well as you guys. So I love that. And I've gotten a couple of your baits now through Hendrix Fishing, one of our podcast sponsors, and your colors are great color combinations. You're not sending some weird stuff. Your plastic, it's got a good feel to it. Um, you know, I guess what got you into the bait making a little bit? You know, like, you know, how do you sit down and go, yep, I'm gonna make baits, and here's how to do it? Like, were you watching YouTube videos? Um, you know, because I talk to Jeremy about it all the time. I'm like, dude, how did you just sit down and decide I'm gonna paint baits and then get good at it? Because man, I'll admit I'm nervous. I'm gonna go paint baits with them, and I think I'm gonna screw it up bad. I don't know if I have that artistic touch.
So Xavier, he actually started the bait making himself.
I started out airbrushing crankbaits and stuff, and like I think the end of 6th grade, I started that myself, just like kind of a hobby. And I started selling them to friends and teachers here and there, and just I kind of joined in with him on the plastics. He said, you know, you want to do half, let me know, because he was starting to get real big and couldn't keep up with orders and everything. So I kind of got away from that and just mainly plastics now. Don't really have time to do that.
Yeah, I mean, I just, you know, I thought it would be cool to make my own baits and be able to go fish them in tournaments. And I started, like you said, just really watching YouTube videos and checking out guys on Facebook and Instagram and just kind of seeing the basics and how to get started. And once you get started, it's hard to stop.
Gotcha on that. Now,
it's kind of like painting too. A lot of people, you know, how much are you going to charge for a jerk bait? You tell them, they're like, wow, that's expensive. I could go to Bass Pro and get one for about the same price. Well, it's custom. They don't see how long it takes to paint a bait. And if you're doing numbers, it's a little cheaper, a little easier. You know, if you're doing like 10 on your table as to like 3 or 4. But then you got the clear coating, the cure time, and then the hardware. You know, it's a couple-day process for one lure, and it adds up. You know, it's not anything you get in to make money on, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, definitely starting out. I mean, we've been doing it for 2 years, and we're just now getting to where we're actually being able to start to actually turn a profit. And I mean, you know, it's a long process to get going. A lot of people don't realize that and how much work it really takes. I mean, you know, we're still in high school and keeping up with schoolwork, and like there's been several nights that we get home, get our homework done in an hour or two, and then we'll go out and make baits for 12, you know, till midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, just to get orders out. And like you said, there's just a lot of extra stuff that people don't see that goes into it.
For sure.
So I like how you guys bring that up. You know, the cost aspect and how you said that you're finally now getting into the profit, I guess. When you start doing this, I mean, you guys are in high school. I mean, what are we talking about for money to kind of get this going? Like, I guess, how did you guys get the money for this going? Did you have people kind of help you out along the way? You know, did you raise money? Are you guys working jobs also on the side? Like, is this like a part-time gig that you're trying to get to go full gig, or what's up?
Yeah, there was kind of to really get started. Yeah, I mean, I worked on a farm up the road here, and every day after school and stuff. And then we cut firewood pretty much every weekend for the last, I don't know, 4 years, I think. Maybe a weekend that we have free, we cut and sell firewood. So just doing our odds and ends jobs, and that's how we had our money and just saved up from. Basically, we emptied our savings accounts that we had saved for a vehicle in college and stuff to start this. And
yeah,
so we did that, and then two, the teacher that actually started the bass fishing team at our school, he's the business teacher for the middle school. And in Indiana, there's a Innovate Within business pitch competition, which it's the largest business competition for high schoolers in the nation. And he pretty much told us, hey, you're doing this no matter what. And I was like, yeah, I'll think about it. And he's like, no, I've already entered you. You guys are doing it.
Oh, geez.
So, so we did that. And with that, we had to make a complete business model. Pitch deck. We had to pitch in front of judges. And there was I think there was 878 teams or something that entered last year. And we qualified for the first round and got to the regional, which there was 10 regions across the state. And then we won our regional and went to the state finals, which were the top 10 teams in the state. And we were lucky enough to actually win the whole competition, and that gave us $20,000 in startup funding. Each gave us a $10,000 scholarship, a bunch of scholarship offers to colleges across the state, and then they flew us out to Phoenix, Arizona for a 5-day business trip where we got to talk to CEOs and just business officials and other startup companies out in Phoenix, and really just get to get the knowledge and everything that everybody could provide. And through that, the connections and stuff that we've made just to help us with the legalities of starting a business and everything has been awesome.
That's insane. I was gonna say shout out to that teacher, because it sounds like if it wasn't for that teacher, you guys probably wouldn't be the young businessmen you guys are becoming now. And shoot, you guys are probably even better than myself. And I'm in a sales job for my full-time gig, and I think I understand business pretty well. But man, you guys seem to have a better grasp on it than I do.
Thank you.
Yeah, congrats to you guys for that. That's awesome.
So in a way, it was kind of a payoff. You guys at least had the right mindset. You had the right people behind you. You dumped your whole savings, but it sounds like in the end here, it's kind of paying off. You guys have been able to get scholarships. You finally have hit that point where you're finally making a profit.
Yeah.
So you've made enough to overcome the debt you had to put into it. I guess some of the stuff is, do you guys use other people's molds, or are you guys looking into getting your own molds built? What do you guys use? And are you guys just soft plastics, or are you getting into the hard bait game as well, kind of like Jeremy? Where do you guys sit now?
Yeah, so right now all of our molds are not custom. We're working on some custom designs right now that we hope to get out in the next year or so. We're kind of getting some designs finalized, and we're going to get some silicone molds or some 3D printed molds first to get the prototypes before we move to the CNC aluminum molds. So we're doing that. And then, I'm sorry, what was the other half of your question?
You're asking it. Yeah, I mean, you're answering it. Sorry. Okay. Nope, you're on the right track. Yep.
But yeah, that's kind of where we're going right now. And our big thing is the color selection that we offer.
Yeah.
I've got a lot of colors that aren't necessarily, I guess they're not necessarily custom, but they're unique, I guess, that I've come up with just for matches to some of the guys that we work with that pour jigs and stuff. I match a lot of stuff to their custom skirt patterns and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's kind of where we're at with that. Just, we want to get something on the market that'll kind of set us apart from all the other bait companies. But that, I mean, that takes a lot of time and money to get custom molds done and stuff too. So,
yep. So where can people find or purchase yours? I mean, is it just through social media? Do you have a site? Where can they see some more of your baits that you got to offer?
Yeah, so right now our big platforms are Instagram and Facebook. We've started a TikTok as well, and you can just search Southern Indiana Bait Co. on all three of those, and you'll find us. Right now, I'm trying to get a website up and everything, get that going just to streamline the whole process. But yeah, right now we're taking orders through messages. Best thing to do is just to message us through that, and I'll send a price list, and I'll send the colors that we have and everything. But I mean, right now we're pouring right around 100 different colors pretty much on a regular basis. So
I was gonna say, so I saw obviously the swim bait, the little paddle tail swim bait. What else do you guys offer in terms of
yeah,
bait? What do you got? What styles? What are we looking at?
So we have 14 different styles that we pour on a regular basis. We'll just go through them all real quick with you guys.
Yeah, most definitely.
Let's see here.
Try to describe them a little bit.
4-inch,
some of our podcasts.
Chew and crawl right here. And then we've got our 4-inch Busy Beaver, which is like our flipping bait. Works good as a jig trailer and stuff too. And what do you
got our paddle tails.
the 3.75 inch. We've got a 4-inch twin tail spinnerbait trailer. These are great for spinnerbaits. I mean, they got the twin tails on that give a lot of good kick.
Then we've got the little 3-inch Beaver. It works really good on a net or a real small jig. Just perfect trailer.
Yeah, here's another view of it paired up on a jig. Any type of little finesse jig or anything, it's perfect.
Now that one's a 3-inch. How big was the other one you showed? I apologize.
The other one's the 4-inch, and then this 3-inch one is actually one that we haven't really launched yet. Just some local guys have been using it, and we took it to the East Tennessee Fishing Show and had really good feedback on them from it. So I'll be looking for that on our pages here in the next couple of weeks. I'm going to be posting pictures of those and kind of, I guess, launching those.
Ooh, see, there you go, guys. Another little spoiler. This is why you tune into the podcast. We get all the juicy stuff.
Yeah. And then
get the insight.
Yeah, and then we've got our 5-inch jerkbait. Ours is actually a jointed jerkbait, so walking it has a lot more action. You don't have to twitch it near as much, just barely walking it. That tail goes back and forth like crazy. And this is actually in our female bluegill color. I don't know how well it's coming up there on the screen, but this color took me about 2 months to get where I wanted it. And to me, if you're trying to imitate a bluegill, this is perfect.
So that's about the color I'd want.
I know, Jeremy. Yeah, I'm already seeing some stuff. We might be building some order.
Dark back on it, where if the water's a little stained, it's still seeable. But if it's clear water at all, this is going to be a killer. And then we've got our buzz frogs, perfect for a buzz bait. They do float, so you can just throw them on a weightless hook and walk them across pads or something. They work really good for that. And then we've got our 4-inch Hoosier Hog, just your regular, pretty much your regular like brush hog style. And now we're gonna get. Oh wait, we still got our 6-inch lizards as well. For all you guys that like throwing lizards on beds or dragging them on a Carolina rig. And now we're gonna get into my favorite arsenal here that I throw like 95% of the time. This is our 8-inch Magnum finesse worm. That won me, I'd say 95% of my tournaments this past year. I mean, dragging this big worm, me and my tournament partner won 7 weeknight tournaments in a row, just dragging a big worm. And then
don't give to your competitors. So don't give too much away to your competitors.
Well, actually, he wants to. He wants them to come over and buy some more from him. It's a win-win for him.
Yeah, he wants to sell it.
It's great because everybody will tell me their custom colors, and I know what they're using against me. So
there you go.
Right. There you go.
And then just your standard 5-inch stick worm.
Can never go
this
wrong.
is in our rainbow trout color, which I know locally has become one of our best sellers. Guys love it because a lot of guys are afraid to throw just straight bubble gum, but with that watermelon back on it, they pick it up and throw it all the time. So
no, I'm learning that those pink colors, those can be deadly because it's a color that at pressured lakes, it's a color that a lot of fish don't see because most guys are throwing your standard green pumpkin, your black and blue, your all those basic colors. So those trout colors are actually becoming more and more fun for me. I've had Jeremy actually paint up a lot of jerk baits and hard baits in that trout pattern because of that.
Yeah, and speaking of pink, I mean, Morning Dawn is one of my go-to colors.
Yes, sir.
All the time. The water's clear.
My wife would love that answer.
I'm throwing Morning Dawn.
You guys have tuned in the last one. You guys know my wife would love that answer right there. That is her favorite go-to color. She throws a Jean LaRue little finesse worm on a Nico setup. It just absolutely kills it when I take her out. I can't take her out anymore because I'm sitting there watching her catch all the fish, and I'm not catching anything.
Yeah. Yeah, and then we got just our 6-inch trick worm, perfect just for a Texas rig or a Nico rig even. And then our 2.7-inch just Ned stick. But yeah, there's our there's our current lineup right now that we've got.
Very nice. It looks like you guys kind of cover the whole basics of everything. So I'm kind of excited to see what crazy creations you guys are going to come up with. You know, something different to hit the market. Now I have to ask. So you said you absolutely love the worm. Now, Xavier,
Yeah.
I know you make them, so you might be a hair bias, but what is your go-to bait that you make, and what color?
I gotta go with the crawl. I mean, we got this color, you know, you got cinnamon purple, I think it was called. Threw a lot of that this year. Caught my PB on that. It was a 5.3.
Yeah. That cinnamon purple, we about an 8-hour day fishing, we had almost a 30-pound bag. So
dear God.
that kind of, I don't know what it was, but that lake that day on cinnamon purple, that's cinnamon purple crawl is the only thing they would eat. I threw a worm, I threw other colored crawls, everything, and they wouldn't touch it.
Yeah.
We started throwing that, and it was game on the whole day.
We probably went through about 40 crawls that day.
Yeah, it was
Dear
crazy.
God, looks like, Jeremy, we're going to have to get with these guys for our fishing tournaments. We're going to have to, like, break down lakes with them. They know more than us.
Yeah, I'm still pretty new to the bass fishing game. It's only been a few years, but I've collected enough stuff and I've learned a lot of things just in a short amount of time.
Yeah.
I was mostly into catfishing and stuff like that, you know.
Yep.
Yeah, it's
not the catfish you see on TV, but the actual like catching catfish. You know.
Yeah, I'm excited. This year will be fun. I kind of just got into the local bass tournaments here in town with another buddy of ours, and this year Jeremy and I actually are gonna partner up and tackle together. So I'm kind of excited to see what we can do together, because usually when we head out to the lakes together, we have very similar fishing styles, but yet we both are comfortable with different style of baits. So I think we complement each other very nicely to where, you know, I'll throw one style of bait. So like, for example, I could be throwing your guys' 3-inch on a trailer, and Jeremy could be sitting there going, nope, I really like throwing, something weightless or something, or a little more finesse, and really try to dial it in. So is that something you guys kind of look at when you were looking for partners for fishing, or was it just like, we're brothers, let's fish?
So with me, the guy I fish with, we fished our first high school tournament, which we jumped into it, and it was like, hey, we might as well go fish the state championship for our first tournament, which we just, whatever.
I've had first, why don't you?
So we went and fished it. Yeah. So we went and fished it, and with our high school stuff, we have a captain, it's my partner's cousin, and we were throwing, chatterbaits and crankbaits and just a little bit of everything. Just didn't really know what we were doing. First time that we'd ever, fished an actual tournament. And he was like, no, put all that down, pick up a worm. And we're like, no, we're just going to keep doing what we're doing. We were catching fish here and there. And he said, no, put that down and pick up a worm. So with a couple hours of tournament left, we finally listened and picked up a worm and caught, I don't know how many keepers, and was calling fish for like the last 2 hours and stuff. And ever since then, we pretty much stick with throwing a worm.
There you go. You found your go-to.
I definitely need to be more diverse with it and start throwing more hard baits and stuff. I don't know, just like this past year, we just got on a pattern where if we were throwing a worm in a couple of our different colors that we make, we just killed it. I mean, this past year for my tournament season was unbelievable. I mean, for the high school division, we got first, and then we got a second place out of around 40 boats, and then we're top 10, I think, for 2 other tournaments, and then we won several of our local tournaments and stuff. And we just kind of looked at it as, why fix something that's not broken? But
so going into these tournaments, you guys are fishing on different teams. Is there any like brotherly competition? You guys like, you're buying breakfast tomorrow or something? Do you guys like motivate each other that way, or are you just pretty supportive, both want to win?
I mean, it's a points race for me. So, I mean, if we've got a spot and we've got 5 good keepers or something, or we're on a pattern, we usually text him and his partner were like, hey, you guys should be throwing this or fishing here. It just depends on the tournament too. I mean, if it's a tournament for money and it's winner take all or something, we're definitely more cutthroat about it. And I'm not telling you what I'm throwing, and you're not going to know where we're headed to today. But for the high school stuff, we're pretty open about it and tell each other this is what we think you should be throwing or not, and what's working.
Yeah, because I know just back when I was in high school, my brother was still in junior high. There's no way we would have been able to fish together, work together, or anything like that. We just didn't get along. But nowadays, it'd be a different story. But it seems like you guys got a pretty good relationship as far as work, fish, everything else. So that's pretty cool to see.
Yeah.
So fishing aside for a little bit, in terms of the business, I'm going to take a stab here. Tell me if I'm wrong, but I'm going to guess, Zion there, you do more of the business side of things, and Xavier, do you do more of the bait making itself, or do you guys kind of share it equally?
No, he definitely does a lot more of the business stuff than me, like taxes and everything. He deals with all that.
Gotcha.
But I mean, I'd say the bait making is split pretty even, really.
So who developed more of the more sellable colors though?
What's that?
Who's the one that came up with the most popular colors though?
Probably him.
That's trial and error.
Yeah, probably me.
Oh, see, I was trying to give you some love there, Xavier.
I'm just really good at like color matching or seeing something in my head and being able to dial it in really good. That's just something I've been good at since I started, and I don't know how to explain it. I can just see something and know what colors I need to do to get there. That's just a talent that I've had since we started, I guess.
I think that's something Jeremy can kind of relate to. I'm probably the one sitting in the background going, I think that'll look cool, and then I just hope for the best, But I wish I had that kind of artistic little bit of an eye to it, to where I could just be like, yep, those colors will blend amazing. But from fishing side of it, I've fished enough baits, I've worked enough to where I can at least go, hey, I know this and this go well together, but I don't know how you should blend them or how you should do it. That's usually where I just tell Jeremy, I'm like, I like X, X, and X. What do you think of this? And how would you blend it? And I just let him run with it.
Yeah.
But with you both being in high school, I love how you guys have started. This is awesome. You're going on to college, and then obviously you still have a couple years of high school left, Xavier. What is next for the company? Is this something you guys are, where do you see the company ending here in the future? What's the goal? Are you guys wanting to be in retail stores? Are you wanting to run your own store? Are you trying to be like the next Z-Man kind of thing, to where you are like this big company? What's the goal?
For me, I mean, I'd definitely like to see it continue to grow. I know I'm going to go for forestry, which is kind of my passion and like my hobby I do on the side and stuff. So for me, I'd like to still be able to do that as a career, but if I could split it where I do that part-time and maybe the bait company part-time, I would like to do that. But we're definitely going to continue to get into more retail shops and stuff over the next year or so. I'm going to try to push and get more of that. Now that we really have the production to keep up with it, because here just this fall, like, it was getting hard to keep up with orders and everything and get ready for our expos. But now we've got the Shooting Star. We ran a new whole new power and box or out box and stuff for the power, so that we have the power we need to be able to run the Shooting Star machine and all the microwaves and stuff. So now we're up in our production where we can really take that next step forward. And just upping our cavity count on molds is huge.
So you said something about a Shooting Star machine. You have me intrigued, because I will admit the bait making stuff is new to me, and I'm loving this when I talk to all these different companies like yourselves, because I learn something new every day. What is a Shooting Star machine?
Yeah.
Educate me and the other folks that don't know what that is.
So Shooting Star machine is, normally you cook everything in the microwave, and you've got a single injector or a dual injector that holds 6 ounces of plastic in each injector. And usually you can shoot, 2 to 5 molds, depending on the size of the mold. But with this shooting star machine, we still cook all of our plastic in the microwave, but we pour it into these pots, and each pot can hold 2 gallons of plastic, keeps it stirred for you. So if you're running salt, like for stick worms or anything, your salt stays suspended and your glitter stays suspended, and it keeps the temperature constant throughout the entire pot by stirring it. And then it's also got heaters on the bottom that keep your plastic up to that 300 to 320 degree mark, depending on where you want to, what temperature you want to run your plastic. And then it's got an injector that screws right into the valve, and you turn the valve with the injector, opens up the port to where you're drawing directly out of that pot rather than having to draw out of, say, a 2-cup or a 4-cup measuring cup. And it just keeps everything, your injector stays hot. You never have to take your injector apart. Really, it just streamlines the whole process and makes it to where you're not constantly putting your plastic back in the microwave to reheat. And really, just the whole process goes a lot smoother, and you're not as rushed.
Gotcha. So, how many molds are you rocking then in one go? Like if I wanted a bulk order of craws,
we're shooting a plastic. Like for shooting our softer blend, we're shooting all of our worms. Our medium blend, we're shooting our 3-inch, our new 3-inch bushwhacker, our swim bait, our jerk bait,
lizards,
our lizards, and our Hoosier hogs. And then for our other blend, we're shooting our craws and our beavers. So like if we're shooting our worms, we're running
20-ish molds.
Yeah, 20-ish molds at a time.
Okay.
Depending on what we're needing to shoot as far as inventory.
Gotcha. And how many of those worms then would you put in a bag then? What's your guys' amount of baits per order kind of thing? Like if I ordered a bag of worms, how many am I getting?
For the worm, like it just depends on the bait. Like our 8-inch and our 10-inch curly tail worm, those are 8 per pack. Our 5-inch stick worms are 10 per pack, and then our 6-inch trick worms, they're 15 per pack, and then our 2 3/4-inch neds are 16 per pack.
Okay.
So I mean, we're putting anywhere between 6 and 18 baits per pack, just depending on the style.
Gotcha. So you're getting about 2.5, almost three bags worth of baits every time you guys are loading up molds then.
Yeah. So right now we're at the point where in every mold or every style of bait we have, we can shoot 3 packs in that style per shot.
Gotcha. Now, how long is it taking you guys, from the time you actually, pour or inject the molds? How long does it take to set, and then how long does it take you to reset to then inject the next mold, then like the next group of molds?
I would say
5 minutes.
Yeah, 5 to 10 minutes, depending on what molds. Because some molds just take longer to demold and get the baits hung than others. But I mean, if we're both out there, and usually I'm shooting molds and demolding, and he's heating up plastic and hanging baits. If we have everything, once we kind of get running and get the pots going and everything, that's the thing. It takes, I'd say, a good 30 to 45 minutes to get everything really up and going. But once we get that going, we're doing a cycle time of 5 to 7 minutes probably per shoot.
Oh wow, okay, so it's a lot faster than I expected. Then I'll admit I thought it took a lot longer. And maybe, like you guys said, it just, as long as you guys are both in there working, it gets a well-oiled machine. But I figured it took, probably like 20 minutes. But that's just me, because like I said, I'm a little dumb when it comes to this stuff.
It's definitely around 20 minutes if it's just one of us. I mean, that extra person really makes it where you're doing half the work and you're focusing on your set rather than going, okay, I need to do this, and oh, now I've got this to do. But that having that extra person really just
speeds up production.
Yeah, it just helps all together.
Now you guys keep talking about it, and Jeremy and I actually saw a couple of the posts that you guys did. Is it the East Tennessee fishing? Was it a fishing expo, or what kind of expo was it?
Yeah, it was the East Tennessee Fishing Show that was in Knoxville.
Gotcha. Now, for those of us that don't live in that area, and some of the listeners that are listening in, how big of a fishing expo is this? And are we talking big companies, a lot of small companies like yourselves, anywhere in between? What kind of other vendors were you guys up against? Not necessarily up against, but showing out with.
There was
Everything.
everything you can think of. I mean, anything from soft plastics to hard baits, rods,
Jigs.
reels, jigs,
Retail shops,
Yeah.
boats.
everything you can think of at a fishing expo was there. And I mean, companies from, a lot smaller than us all the way up to NetBait and Zoom. And I mean, pretty much everything from the lowest to the biggest and just everything in between. It's one of the bigger shows. I think they said that there was around 35,000 people that came through there that weekend. So
it's not like ours where they pack all 300 of us in a school lobby.
Well, it goes into the gymnasium. It goes in the old part of the gymnasium.
We don't get anything like that around here.
Now, I guess how far away? Because where are you guys out? Are you guys out of Indiana then? Okay,
Yeah.
so how far away was the travel to get to that expo?
it
It was
was
5 hours.
Well, it wasn't quite 5. We drove straight through. So it was about 4.5 hours.
And then time commitment wise, I mean, I'm assuming you had to show up before it opened because you had a setup day, I'm guessing?
Yeah, we got to skip school for 4 days.
Oh.
We
No,
we left Wednesday, got down there Wednesday night, started setting up Wednesday night, finished up Thursday, and doors opened at 2:00 on Thursday, and then ran Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We drove home Sunday and got home around midnight, and then unpacked Monday.
oh, geez, that's a busy schedule. Now,
Yeah.
so other than the time commitment, I'm assuming a big expo like this isn't like Jeremy said, isn't like a small expo like we have here in town. I'm assuming there's a vendor fee that you guys had to come up with. And then you had
Yeah.
your travel expenses. All in all, was something like that good for the company? Did you guys come back with a lot of product that you took down? Do you feel like you gained some customers? What was an experience like that worth it for a small company like yourselves? Or did you guys get lost in the bigger
I
companies?
would say for us, I mean, from what we heard from other bait companies that were there, the shows aren't necessarily your profit makers, but which we covered all of our expenses and made some. So I really can't complain. They said pretty much if you cover your expenses at an expo, you're doing good. And I think we definitely did good just being able to talk with all the other companies that were there, making those connections. That's like with Third Eye Fishing. I've been talking to him through Instagram for the past 2 or 3 months and got to actually, talk to him in person down there. And me and him, got to sit there and talk about different, just everything that you can think about, colors or plastics and packaging, running a business. The connections that we make, I think, were really good. And just getting your name out there, meeting those locals that'll tell you, hey, yeah, this color works really good down here. And because that's one thing that I took kind of what we normally sell, and going down there, I noticed it was kind of a different product base as to what colors they throw locally and stuff. So I think that really helped us too, just getting to know more of what fishes well in different regions of the country too.
And that's a huge one there.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Yeah.
no company does it necessarily perfect. Big company wise, I mean, I'll give a little bit of props whether you like them or hate them, but Monster Bass I think does a pretty decent job breaking down regions. But even they'll admit it's the hardest thing to do because you'll pick a color or you'll pick a style of bait that you think from all the research you've done will work, but until, like you guys found out, until you actually talk to the people that are fishing in those areas, you never know. You could be like, yep, black and
I mean,
blue's the
that's
color. Get there and find out, no, it's actually green pumpkin, dude. Oh, but everything I read said
Yeah.
black and blue's supposed to be the color.
I know, because me going down there, I was thinking, okay, it's going to be kind of like Chickamauga, and that's what we're kind of targeting. And I was thinking more of, okay, your bigger worms that you're going to throw on a shaky head or something, or your flipping baits. And it ended up being everybody wanted swim baits, jerk baits, and neds, which was the three things I took the least amount of. So,
and then the big color there was straight red.
Yeah, anything red. I mean, up here it's more of your natural green pumpkins, your Bama bug, your baby bass, and I was kind of okay. That's what'll sell. And down there it was completely different.
A lot of cherry seed and fire crawl and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Very nice. So it was a good learning experience, is what it sounds like. You guys made some great connections that I'm hoping turns around for you guys in the future and gets you further along in the business. Do you guys have any other expos planned or anything like that planned already, or anything you're looking at potentially?
We were going to do one in Indianapolis, but it was actually going to be this weekend, and it got canceled because of COVID. The state took over the fairgrounds up there to do testing, so that kind of knocked us back on our expo there. We're looking at doing one in South Carolina at the end of March, possibly. Haven't confirmed on that one yet. But next year, I think we're looking at doing 3 to 5 expos probably. We're probably going to do the one in East Tennessee again, and then probably one in Cincinnati, Ohio, Columbus, Ohio, one in Indianapolis, and then I might pick up another one somewhere. But we've got some smaller tackle swaps and stuff that are more local that we're going to do. As far as big expos, that's what we're looking at.
Very nice. Like I said, if you guys ever get, whether fishing tournament wise or even expo wise, if you guys get towards the Midwest a little bit more, or shoot through the Midwest, please let us know, because like I said, if it's not too far away, I know Jeremy and I would love to head down and support you guys. Or like I said, if you're heading through, by all means let us know as well, because we'd love to sit down with you guys, chat with you a little bit more. Or if you get a day, hey, take you out on a lake. I can't promise you anything big. Maybe a pike, but the northern strain bass, man, they are finicky. If your PB would be a giant here, I'll put it that way.
Really?
But, if you catch a 5-pound bass, you're having a really, really good month.
Yeah.
3s and 4s are what are you get excited over 3s and 4s. A 5, you're jumping up and down on the boat, going, "Look what I got!"
Yeah.
But like I said, I could get you on a couple pike though.
Yeah, that's kind of how Indiana is. It's just because we've got a lot of guys that fish, and we don't have the water, so it gets pressured hard.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of tournaments where most people don't have a limit, and
or catching you.
Yeah, or it's like you said, sometimes it can be really hard to just get a keeper. But yeah.
I know Jeremy will agree with me on this, but a little tip that you guys may want to try. I know you said you got to get into cranking more, but I would encourage you to try a Finesse, either square bill or rounded bill, for those very pressured lakes. It's something Jeremy and I tried this last year. The one in particular was it the Curve 55? Is that what we tried out, Jeremy, from 6 Cents? Was that what it was?
Yeah, and then the 6 Cents Curve 55, and then or the Finesse Curve, and then the Finesse square bill.
We
trying to see.
We tried those, and we went to one of the pressured local ponds, and it's a small pond. I mean, absolutely small. It's something that you know what everybody throws. They're always throwing some sort of Senko. They're always throwing, a chatterbait or a big square bill. We literally started throwing Finesse square bills and Finesse curves, and just having that little bit of difference, we were getting the bigger fish. And people were like, "How are you catching them? No way you caught that out of there."
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. I mean, just throwing something they don't see all the time. I know, like this past year, my tournament partner came up with a color as just an idea, and it's close to what's already on the market, but I just added my own touch to it. It makes it different and really gives a different look in the water. And he just thought of it, and I threw it together. And I got a call at 10 a.m. whenever he was fishing a tournament saying, "Hey, I need you to make me 100 of these. We've already went through the whole bag, and we've been calling fish for the last hour." So we started running that color, and we did. That's what we won a lot of our tournaments on this past year. I think, like you said, it's just figuring out something they don't see from everybody else.
No, I'm laughing.
Yeah,
I'm laughing a little bit.
Yeah.
Jeremy's holding up the maps, and man, we get so much backlash here in Nebraska for throwing up maps. I get people all the time when I'm at tournaments going, "Why are you throwing that trout bait? Why are you throwing?" And yet, I'm looking at my wall. I have a MEP certificate for catching a bluegill, out of all things. That was 1 pound, 12 inches. I got a 4-pound bass on a MEPS, and my biggest pike so far out of a local pond, which was 8.5 pounds, came off of MEPS, and we absolutely were just destroying fish with MEPS. And once again, it's because, like you guys said, it's throwing something they don't see all the time. Everybody here thinks a MEPS spinner is for fishing for trout or fishing in a river. We will throw it no matter what. And I think the most fun we had with the MEPS, Jeremy, where did we get? Was it just in South Dakota on the Missouri? Was that Ponca? We caught so many different species. I think we was a smallmouth. We caught every version of the walleye family. So it was a walleye, sauger, sockeye, and then
gar.
Oh yeah, that was the funny one. We were catching gar, and people were looking at us going, "How are you actually hooking on to gar?" Well, that treble was just perfect enough. You keep pressure. They kept their mouth around it. We'd at least get them on shore. Once they got to shore, they'd let go of the hooks. So we were able to grab them. But like you said, it's throwing that different bait or that different color that the fish don't always see. And I think we've had the most fun doing that this year. And that's something that I definitely need to continue next year. Because there's a few baits I still don't throw, but I probably should throw just because I know nobody else throws them. I just got to get comfortable with it.
Yeah.
Now, we've talked a lot about fishing, a lot about business. When you guys aren't making baits, you're not at school, what do you do for fun?
Fishing. I'm always fishing.
Always fishing. Okay.
No matter what, if I can do something fishing related, I'll probably go through my tackle box once every month just to see what all I got in inventory, all that basically.
Yeah, it kills me. He'll sit down and get out every one of his boxes and reorganize them when he hasn't touched half of them. So, but yeah, for him, it's definitely just out fishing. For me, I'm huge into hunting. So if it's fall, I'm doing, if I'm not fishing or making baits, I'm hunting, or in the summertime, I'm doing habitat work, whether it be food plots or timber management. That's kind of my other hobby, is the forestry stuff. So like all summer long, I work an internship with a forester 5 to 6 days a week. But yeah, that's kind of, if I'm not at school or making baits, I'm usually out hunting or doing something like that.
So I'm just gonna take a stab, but I'm guessing no girlfriends at the moment.
Correct.
That explains it. Jeremy, we screwed up. We're married. You know how much more fishing we could do? I mean, listen to these guys.
I got no comment.
I made the comment, and she's watching right now, so I'm in trouble, but it's okay.
Yeah.
No, I think we probably have some great wives.
I'm gonna stay away from that whole.
No. I think we got some awesome wives, because they do let us fish quite a bit more than they probably should. Let's admit that.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
don't worry. You guys could probably focus more on school, focus more on baits. You don't need girls to mess that up for you. There's plenty of time for that.
I don't know. There's more and more fishing nowadays, so.
True. Get yourself a girlfriend that fishes, and then put a ring on it, because that's rare.
Yeah.
I know we're kind of nearing our time, if I'm not mistaken. I just want to say I think it's awesome what you guys are doing. We're glad we get to share your story. Hopefully inspire, other kids your age, take that right path. I know my nephew recently has been obsessed with fishing, and he's been kicking our butts in ice fishing. Like,
yeah,
I called it quits yesterday. He was like, "I'm going. Got 2 more." Just it's great seeing the youth getting out and having something to, because anymore. There, especially with COVID, there's just no options to go do a lot of stuff, and it's good that people can get out and just get out.
Yeah, and that's a big thing for me because I know, like, if we didn't have a bass fishing team started at our high school, I'd have never started making my own baits. I've never have gotten into the tournament fishing, I don't think. And that's a big thing for me is just trying to we try to give a bunch of product to the high school division and stuff, and just to try to get more kids involved. I mean, that's what it's all about.
Well, he keeps using the term kids. I'm gonna stick with young men because you guys are way more mature than kids. But he is dad age, so we can poke at him a little bit. But one last question for you guys before we let you guys go. Like I said, I don't want to keep you guys too long because I know it's a school night. Yeah, even though you guys are probably gonna be up to like midnight doing who knows what. But this is kind of for both of you, so I'd like to kind of hear from both of you on this one if I can. You mentioned already if it wasn't for the high school bass team, you would have gotten to bait making. Who or what got you guys both into fishing? Where did the love for fishing come from? Is it a family thing? Was it something you stumbled upon? What got you guys going? Like I said, I'd like to kind of hear both your sides.
We've probably been fishing on our own since like 6 years old. We've always had a pond at our granny's that we could go and catch a fish out of there, guaranteed any time on anything. I think I found a flower on the ground, a little purple flower, and I was catching fish on that one day. I couldn't find any bait or anything.
Yeah, I mean, just going camping and stuff with our family, and we've got a creek right down the road from us, and ever since I can remember, me, Xavier, and my dad would go down there and catch like little bluegill and stuff, and just fishing in farm ponds and stuff is kind of what got us into it. Before I got into the tournament fishing, I'd never been like on a boat in a bigger lake to, bass fish or anything. So, it just kind of started out as a small little hobby thing, and really just took off from there.
Yeah, that's about all I do anymore is fishing.
There could be a lot worse things. I think Jeremy would agree that you could be doing. My wife gives me a lot of hard time. She says I fish a bunch, but at the same time, even she knows I could be doing a lot worse things. And like I said, I'd encourage you guys to keep fishing, keep making baits, do well in school, because I love hearing that you guys are, especially Zion there, what you're going to school for. I think that's awesome. There's not enough, young men or young women your age that are into that kind of stuff, and I think we need more people in that field, obviously, especially here in the Midwest. We're lacking on conservation officers. We're lacking on people in that kind of industry that care about the wildlife. I kind of challenge you to do well this year in the fishing tournaments, and I challenge you guys to actually get more content out. I'm excited to see what you guys can do. Get some videos, do some YouTube, some Instagram shorts. I'd like to see some more stuff from you guys because you guys are kind of exciting, and I love seeing you guys grow.
Yeah, thank you.
Yep, thank you.
But we'll let you guys go. We appreciate you guys for stopping in on the podcast. We'll definitely have to get you guys in the future and see what you guys got into. When does the high school? I guess when's state for the high school fishing tournament?
So May 7th, we have our last event for points of the year, and they're also running the state championship that qualifies for the Nationals on Lake Pickwick at the same time. So we're actually weighing in for 2 tournaments in one. And that's kind of going to be, for me, it's going to be a big deal because we're 3rd in points, and there's only a 9-point difference in the top 10 teams right now.
Okay.
So that tournament's kind of going to determine everything for me and my partner.
Well, Jeremy and I will have to check in with you guys in the summer. Hopefully, when get you guys back on the podcast, you got a nice shiny trophy or medal to show off to us. But
yeah, I hope so.
Good luck out there, guys. I appreciate you stopping in. Jeremy, any last comments or remarks?
I just want to say best of luck to you guys, and if you need any hard baits, any certain color, hit me up, and I'll work a deal out with you guys.
All right.
So.
Awesome, guys. Well, you guys have a great night. And as always, thanks for the support, and we'll keep supporting you.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Jeremy. What a session. That was you were right. I'm glad we got them on the podcast. I hope everybody else enjoyed it as well. Those young guys are, as I got a couple comments. Everybody loves them. I'm excited to see what they got. I love seeing their product line. I didn't know they had a jointed soft jerk bait. That kind of intrigued me.
Yep, that'd be pretty cool. Definitely interested in something
But
like that. So
I know we've got a bunch of other people lined up for next week and the week after's podcast. So guys, keep tuned to our Instagrams. We'll announce who's going to be on there next. Unfortunately, you guys were slacking though this time. We didn't get to our viewer count, Jeremy. So I think we're gonna have to carry those jerk baits over to next week, and I might have to sweeten the pot a little bit, add a couple more baits, and see if we can get some more people enticed to come in because they're missing some great content with some great folks.
we'll get there.
But, as always, guys, make sure you guys are subscribed to the YouTube channel. Drop a follow. If you're listening to this, or if you just want to listen to us, not watch this, please check out our. We are on Spotify finally. FishTalk on Spotify. I'll leave a link down in the description below for you guys. So drop us a follow there as well. But as always, guys, good luck out on the water. Hope you guys catch some bigs. We'll see you next week.
Mm-hmm.